to Just Black with Melody, and today, creating this video, I could not be more proud. I have been saying for the longest, if I can just find one African leader that is willing to take a stance and stand and fight for us. So many times I've asked myself, what really is our quality of life? Was we created in this world to be slaves, to be robbed of our natural resources, and to be stripped of our identity? I am so glad that the president of Burkina Faso, President Ibrahim, has stood up and took a stance. And he did not come to play games with nobody. We're getting into this discussion right after this. Have literally endured it all as a people. We have been subjected to the most horrific crimes created against mankind, and no justice has been served for us. And it has only repeated itself again and again and again throughout our generations. And I always wondered to myself, when are we going to take a stance? When are we going to stand up and defend ourselves? And I don't mean individually, but I mean collectively. Because they worked so hard to keep us divided, it worked for a very long time. Because we were so busy fighting each other that we never took the time to see who our true enemies were. And I'm so glad that Black people all over the world are finally starting to wake up, and not only wake up, but rise up and take back our dignity, take back our heritage, take back our stories, and most importantly, take back our country and our natural resources. It seemed that we couldn't find an African leader anywhere. They were all just used as puppets in a system created by the Western countries. But this changes because Burkina Faso has stepped up to the plate, and President Ibrahim is not playing. He is turning these Western countries every which way but loose. I'm so grateful that we have finally reached this point where another Black person has stood up in power and decided, I'm not bowing down to these Western countries. We are the resource, and we're taking our resources back. Not another pawn to be used in a world that they have created. We are deciding that we are creating our own universe, our own world, and we are rewriting our own story, one African country at a time. Now, President Ibrahim is very protected. They have made so many attempts against his life. We're at attempt like number 18 right now. They have been trying to assassinate him, but it will never work. How many leaders have we lost along the way? But they found a very calculated way to turn us against each other. I want to say that we are probably the only race on the planet that is constantly at odds within ourselves. And if we're busy fighting each other, we don't have time to be looking to see who's stealing our resources or who's taking advantage of us, or the fact that we're even still mentally and physically in chains. Because the majority of our resources is owned by these Western countries. I remember saying that the white man came to Africa and he said to the Africans, let's bow our head and pray. When they finished praying and the Africans looked up, they had the Bible and the white man had the land. And that saying is so true, and it holds true even until today, 2025. We have to be very vocal and very intentional about standing up for ourselves and reclaiming what is ours, because they are very vocal and very intentional about keeping us as a people suppressed. And how much longer, I used to always ask, are we going to continue to endure? Are we going to continue to accept the hand that they have given, and we say nothing about it? President Ibrahim has been making great, amazing strides, and the Western countries are so mad about this. He has ordered the Western countries, you're going to give us back our gold, you're going to give us back the resources that we took, and they are mad about it. Do you know how much money they are about to lose? Do you know if every African country begins to come on board with this mentality, how powerful we will become as an African people? Thousands of years ago, we ruled the planet, and now it's time for us to come back into our rightful position, where we belong. They like to call us animals, but when it's all said and done, who's really the animal? To this day, they still continue to victimize. They still continue to oppress. They still continue to use tactics to divide a people. Only an animal would do something like that. We as Black people have always been loving. We've always been caring. We've always received others with open arms. And they use that as an opportunity to take advantage and to infiltrate and to steal what did not belong to them. We have been a part of the system for so long that a lot of us don't even know how to function. We don't even know how to think straight because we're so used to these Western countries thinking for us. They have taught us how to wear our hair. They've taught us what the standards of beauty is. They have taught us what type of clothing we should wear. They have literally shaped and molded our race of people into their idea of what they want reality to be like. They created their own reality, and we have been a part of it. We now need to recreate our own reality. It's time for us to get our resources. It's time for all of the Black people that are in these various Western countries to come out of them, return back to Africa. Bring your resources. Bring all of the knowledge that you've learned while you have been held captive in those Western countries, because you have been held captive, whether you realize it or not. Mentally, you have been held captive. Come out of those places. Return back to Africa and help to build Africa up. Because being in those Western countries, eventually they're going to fall one at a time, especially when more and more African countries start hopping on board and taking back our resources. And I want to say a big congratulations to Burkina Faso. They have officially paid off their debt, and now they are debt-free. They own all of their resources, true and true. And this is the way that it should have been from the beginning, but we know how these Western countries operate. They impose debt upon a nation so that they can then have control. But we're taking back that control, and President Ibrahim has already showed that it's possible. So I'm just praying, and I'm sitting back and I'm waiting for the moment that more African countries start getting on board with this, paying off your debt to these countries, getting out of those contracts that you may be in, and coming out of Babylon. If we can all come together, all of these African countries come together under one Africa, the way that it has always been meant, and have our resources, establish one military, establish one currency. That's what needs to happen. And I'm hearing around that this is exactly what President Ibrahim is planning to do, and I'm standing 10 toes behind him, because that is exactly what we need. How powerful we would be if we can all band together. You know how many Black people exist on this planet? Oh, it would just be a very powerful movement. It's much more difficult to do things when it's just a single person. But how powerful and how much more can you do if you have people banding together, working together? Look at Mexican people. They know the true definition of banding together. I remember when I was younger and we used to all sit around and laugh. You would see so many Mexicans piling into one car, piling into one house, but they had a greater agenda in mind. Yes, they may have stayed down for a moment, but they have the ultimate come up now. They have been able to make so many investments, and they have been able to turn around their generations because they decided to stay down for a moment until they were able to come up. They didn't take no handouts. They worked hard, and they got the job done. Now that I'm older, I look at the Mexican people, and I'm like, man, if only we Black people could have understood that assignment so long ago, how far would we be right now? But we're here, 2025, and we're still in these various places struggling. We're still in these various places fighting. We're still in these various places against each other. We're still in these various places trying to struggle with our self-identity. We're still in these various places being slaves. We don't have quality of lives. A lot of us are depressed, and it shows even down to our generations and our children. We are depressed because we are struggling, not only financially, but struggling with our identity. I remember this was me until I came to Africa. Before coming to Africa, I always struggled with who am I? What is my purpose here on this earth? What am I created to do? Is this my life? That I should just go to school until 12th grade and graduate, only to go to college and graduate, only to work for somebody until the day I die? Is this my life? I started to get depressed. I don't know about nobody else, but I started to become so depressed just thinking that was my reality. Until I decided to change my mindset. And I started selling myself a different story. I started telling myself that, no, Melody, that's not your reality. This is not who you are. This is who they want you to be. And then it took me to sit with myself to start to say, what is it that Melody likes? What is it that Melody believes in? What is it that Melody enjoys doing? What is Melody's purpose? When I started asking myself those questions in my very intimate moments, I started getting answers. And then fast forward to now, and I am in Africa, and I am getting all of the answers I need to life. I have my spiritual protection here, and my life feels so much more free. My mind is so much more clear. I don't feel enslaved to that system. I don't have to fear my kids going outside and risking being shot. I don't have to fear my kids going outside and risking what is going to happen to them when they're older. Are they going to be subject to discrimination by cops and various others that are around that don't like our race? That was another thing that really used to scare me about being in the States, because I understood as an African American mother, I was raising African American children, and more importantly, African American kings. And I wanted my kids, my sons, to have a different future. I wanted them to be able to look around and see their own kind, their own people on billboards, and know that this is who you are. This is your heritage. This is where you belong. Making a decision to bring my kids here to Africa not only changed my life, but it changed my children's lives as well. My children no longer have to be a statistic to Western colonization. We are free here in Africa. And yes, there are many challenges, which I am very vocal about, and we speak about here on the channel all the time, because I'm always gonna stand up and have a voice. Who would I be if I seen so many issues and I just turned a blind eye and thought about myself? And that's the problem with us. We look, we see issues with each other, and we turn a blind eye and say, oh, not my problem. But it is. Because if your brother is having a problem, if your sister is having a problem, no, you may feel like it's not directly affecting you, but some way, somehow, what your brother and your sister are going through will always directly affect you. We have to understand that we are one body. We are one people. We are many shades of one color. And that alone should tell us the importance of banding together. Look all around us. Look at the dirt. Look at the trees. You can find our hue in everything that you see. We are a very powerful race of people. And it's about time that we stood up and we reclaim that power and we come back to the reality of who we are. And the sooner that we begin to do this is the sooner that we will begin to rise the way that we have always been meant to rise. I am for sure planning my trip to Burkina Faso. I have to meet my amazing brothers and sisters who is doing the extraordinary. And I'm behind them. And I have to physically go there just to let them know how grateful I am for all of the sacrifices that they have been making. Because they could just be rolling over like everybody else and turning a blind eye. But by them rising up is going to not only help liberate Burkina Faso, it's going to help liberate us Black people all across the world. Drop a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are on this topic. If this is your first time here on the channel, welcome, and take a moment and hit that subscribe button. Do not go anywhere until you hit that subscribe button. We also now have a store right here on our YouTube channel, Sacred Minerals, and you can even shop sacredminerals.org, where we have our full product selection available. New products are always being added. So if you browse and you don't see anything that you're interested in, keep coming back, because we're always adding new things to the list. We also now have membership levels here on the channel, so please consider joining one of our memberships and helping the efforts of the channel. This walk that I am on is not just about me, but it's about us. And we are getting somewhere very fast. There's amazing things coming up here on the channel, and this is just the beginning of it all. I love you guys so much, and I thank you for tuning in to today's video. I will see y'all on the next one.